From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Nigeria's power sector gets further boost as the World Bank plans $1 million investment in generation and distribution companies. House of Representatives member denies receiving $25,000 to support President Jonathan in the 2015 election. Our Independence Anniversary Special Report Series continues today with the focus on the judiciary. An Italian Prime Minister wins a Senate confidence vote following last-minute U-turn by former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi.
On Business News tonight, the CBN's reintroduced retail Dutch auction system takes effect today.
On Sports News, Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshe escapes FIFA hammer for purported racist comments on former Malawi coach Tom Saintfiet.
We begin tonight with the World Bank's lifeline to the power sector in the sum of $1 billion. Now, this grant is expected to accelerate the post-privatization process of the power sector. The International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank, says it will make long-term loan financing available to the sector because of the potentials it presents. This amount, when given, will be shared among the 3 distribution and generation companies that won the privatization bid. Our energy correspondent, Olu Phillips, reports.
Despite all the misgivings and skepticisms around the power sector reform, the train's doors appear to have left the station. In this closed-door meeting, the director of International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, says it is encouraged by the perception of momentum by the federal government in that sector and is willing to support it with financing.
We hope to either provide directly or mobilize in excess of $1 billion in the coming couple of years in support of this program. We hope to be financing a number of the generation companies, probably in particular on the greenfield side. And we also are in discussions to play a role in providing some of the longer-term financing for probably on maybe 3 of the distribution companies as well.
Joining the train also in another room are these investors who are interfacing with principals and experts to fine-tune investment decisions for Nigeria's power sector.
The key officials to ensure level play through the market operator, the regulator, the system operator, all in place within the marketplace. Industry players do have responsibility to apply these commercial agreements to keep the market.
Not even the labor issues as perceived in some quarters can derail the process, we are told.
Labor issues are not all. They are labor issues and they are finished. Paying them is not all the labor issues. All the labor issues have been done, just paying them, which is a process. You need to know who you're paying, where the banks are, what their names are, you wire the money, it takes some time. That's not all the issues.
So the process is on course?
It's on course.
When the president handed over certificates to private investors on Monday, that of course signaled that we had entered the last mile in terms of power privatization in the country. The World Bank says today that Nigeria has the potential of becoming one of the 10th most profitable markets to do business in terms of power supply. But again, the question is how all of that translates into mega power, into our homes and into our businesses is the next question, and how soon that becomes is also a big one. From Lagos, Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
The House of Representatives seems to have a problem at hand, which is identifying those who purportedly collected $25,000 each to support the presidential bid of President Goodluck Jonathan. But one of the lawmakers, Mohammed Onao from Nasarawa State, distanced himself from the accusation, saying his permission was not obtained before his name was put in a newspaper advertorial in support of the president. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi reports.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I was shocked seeing this publication in the sense that in a matter like this, despite the fact that we came here on a different platform, on a matter like this House is supposed to stand as a team, as one, as a very proud team that this country has been proud of since we came on board. But I am confused. In the sense that the name looked selective, and my name was amongst those that was published. I cannot remember giving my name to anybody or giving my consent to anybody for such a publication. All of us here, including those that are not in PDP, voted for Mr. President. And if I wish to congratulate him under this House, I checked, I didn't see the name of Mr. Speaker. I checked, I didn't see the name of the Deputy Speaker. And some very prominent members of this House. So this is not a reflection of this House. Are we operating a divided House? This is not good for this country. More shocking to me, sir, is the fact that it is being insinuated that the names on this list were those that collected $25,000. My constituents are asking me to give them part of their own. I didn't collect any $25,000 from anybody, and I am not part of this charade.
Well, staying with activities at the lower house, in a bid to reduce the abuse of diplomatic passports by Nigerians, the House of Representatives has reduced the category of people eligible for the document. In a heated and lengthy debate on the bill to amend the Passport Act, the lawmakers pointed out that there was need to protect the integrity of diplomatic passports and save the process from further abuse. They also amended the section which gives the President the prerogative to authorize the issuance of diplomatic passports.
When our members of the National Assembly were denied the access of diplomatic passports, and the then Speaker Bankole here approached the then President Umar Yar'Adua to say that National Assembly members also perform diplomatic duties outside the shores of this country. And with that, executive order was given for us to avail that particular passport. So a member of this House now moved that legislation, that executive order should be legislated, so that tomorrow somebody will not use it against the National Assembly. And I give you an example. Just 2 weeks ago, a member went to renew his passport and he was told that he's not entitled.
International diplomatic status under the diplomatic status protocol. And it's an international protocol. And unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that protocol here today. If I had known, I would have brought. But there's a protocol, and we must adhere to that protocol. Otherwise, what we're doing here is an exercise in futility. It will still reduce the potency of our diplomatic passports.
These people, they're not diplomats. We need to separate. I think the confusion here is official passport and diplomatic passport. They're two different things. Yes, they are entitled to official passports when they're going on official duty, but they're not entitled to diplomatic passport. So the language of the amendment has to be clearer and less ambiguous to differentiate the two. Who is entitled to official? Who is entitled to fire service diplomatic passport?
The United Kingdom is once again giving Nigerians the assurance that the controversial visa bond of £3,000 is not in force. The Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Peter Carter, says that the issue is still being debated by ministers in the UK. He also says that the UK is willing to work with Nigeria to fight terrorism.
There is no change to our visa service. There is no change to our visa policy at the moment. We've all heard about this so-called visa bond that I have certainly had to answer many, many questions about in the last 2 months or so. It does not exist. It is a policy proposal which ministers in Britain are still considering. So at the moment there is no visa bond, there is no requirement on anybody to pay £3,000 or any other thousands of pounds to get a British visa. You go through all the normal procedures that so many Nigerians are familiar with. The government is certainly looking at ways to deter those who are tempted to overstay their visa, not just in Nigeria. This is a problem we have with many countries, and it's the responsible thing to do to look at how we encourage those we want to come to the United Kingdom and make sure that those who are less inclined to obey the rules to think twice before coming to the UK. But we would be really, really stupid, frankly, if we said, oh no, you can only come if you pay £3,000. That will never, never happen. On terrorism, we have been working very closely with the federal government to provide support, advice and assistance, which we hope will help the Nigerian government tackle the serious problems in the north of the country. That's in our interests as well as Nigeria's interests, because we have a shared commitment to ensuring our own security, to ensuring this region's security, and we're both threatened by Islamic fundamentalism, indeed fundamentalism of any sort.
The Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Peter Carter, clearing up the controversial visa bond of £3,000 there while he was on a visit to Channels Television's corporate. Now in part 2, after the break, a female student of the Lagos State University regains freedom after 3 years with her captors. That's in a moment. Do join us again.